that's what
I
it
love
boils
it.
down to. Like if you want to reach a goal, you've got to sacrifice to get what you want as far as a goal. So I know to run the race I want, I've got to put in the work to run that race. And so, yeah, is it gonna be tough miles for sure? But like that's the only way to get your goal or whatever. If you have a time pace or a mileage, like doing 100 miles or whatever, there's got to be some sacrifice that's got to be made to do it. And so that's the sacrifice I make, because I know it's just get ready for a couple hours of really tough, hard running where I'm pushing myself to limits I've never been before. And you hope that your body can hold up. And, sometimes you're teetering on the line of being injured versus not being injured. But I think that's the line you got to toe to, to get those gains.
Running is a strange thing. Some people find it on the sidewalk at sunrise. Some find it deep in the mountains, chasing daylight. And some of us find it when life feels heavy, and running is the only thing that makes sense. For some, it starts with a 5K. For others, it's a marathon. And for a few, it's 100 miles that changes everything. But somewhere between the first step and the finish line, something happens. Running stops being about pace, or distance, or medals. It becomes about purpose. I'm your host, Ryan Head, and this is Reimagine Running, the podcast dedicated to talking about why we run. Each episode, we'll sit down with runners from every background, trail runners, road runners, beginners, veterans, and talk about their journey. Not just where they've run, but why they run. Because for many of us, running didn't just change our fitness, it helped us find clarity, healing, discipline, hope, and sometimes even ourselves. Whether your why was born on a short loop around the block, or somewhere deep inside a long, lonely mile, this podcast is for you. Welcome to Reimagine Running. All right, guys, welcome back to Reimagine Running. I'm your host, Ryan Head. I am excited to bring the next episode. And as I had mentioned before and previously, I am excited to bring on not only an amazing runner and someone who is just a great example to so many of us, here in Northern Utah, and, a lot of people really look up to, but also a really good friend of mine, Tim Cottrell. I wanted to give kind of an introduction to Tim. Usually with my guests, I would have them send me a little bit of a write-up so I knew what to say about him, but I didn't do that with Tim. I was like, you know what, we're just going to wing it and we'll be fine. Trust me, if you're going to be one of my guests in the future, I promise I won't wing it with you. But I know Tim well enough, so I figured I'd give a good little introduction of Tim. Tim, again, like I said, he's someone I have been running with now for many years. I got to know Tim prior to the pandemic. We had a mutual friend who kind of introduced the two of us, and so we kind of became friends. Mostly we were like Strava friends, social media friends initially. And then as both of us kind of became more involved with the Ogden Marathon and doing group runs and stuff, Tim was someone who started showing up and was constantly there trying to help develop support and make the program just awesome. And from there, he has just been really, I don't know who's right-hand man, but we have just worked hand in hand to really help develop the community here in Utah, especially in the Northern Utah area. We have had a lot of fun on races. We ran a lot of races together. Let me restate that. We don't run races together. He leaves me in the dust, but we have shared the path together, which has been amazing. Tim is a Boston qualifier. He is very, very fast. He's very, very good. Last year, he Boston qualified, and correct me if I'm wrong, you did it multiple times. You did it at Ogden at a 252? 253, okay. Yeah. And then he did it also at Big Cottonwood Canyon Marathon, and he did that at 249, 28?
Yep, 249.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it was one of those two. That tells you everything. He's dedicated, he's awesome, he's someone that really enjoys this stuff. So without further ado, introduce you to Tim Cottrell.
I'm glad to be on here. It's going to be fun.
Awesome,
see how this goes.
Well, yeah, no, you're going to do awesome, man. I'm so excited you wanted to come on and be my first guest. This may be the second episode, but you are my first guest. So it makes things very exciting. So, I gave kind of an introduction of who you are, but tell us about you, man. Like, obviously I gave a decent, maybe it wasn't decent.
That was great. No, that's good.
I gave an okay update of you, but
no, it was good.
Tell everybody about you, man. There's going to be people that are watching this or listening to this that won't know who you are. So yeah, tell us about you, man.
All right. I started running like 15 years ago. Maybe this won't be too much right now. Maybe we'll be going into this later. I don't know. But I started when I was 30. I'm almost 45 now. I've never actually really been coached. I've done it all kind of by myself. I was in it was called Endure Strong. It was a team, I guess, that was led by Des Linden and Jared Ward. And they'd have weekly chats and you could ask them questions and things like that. But it really didn't have, I mean, there was a kind of some coaching, like you could ask them questions about, pacing or uh, workouts or whatever, but it wasn't really super, like they weren't my coach, so to speak. So I did that for about a year, but other than that, I've kind of just been running on my own, learning on my own way, and haven't really had anyone to tell me how to do this. So it was a big learning curve, especially early. But I think I've mostly figured out what I'm doing now. So it's been fun. I've I mainly do road races. I haven't done any trail races yet. That's coming down the road at some point. We'll do a
Nice.
few of those at least. I love the marathon distance. I've done 22 full marathons. I think Ryan's somewhere in that ballpark too. I think you're like 26 or something, if I recall correctly, or
No,
24.
no, no,
24?
18.
Oh, I thought you were ahead of me.
I'm at 18 road marathons, but
Okay.
if you added everything else in, it's high. But
Okay. All right.
we're talking about you today, man. We're not talking about me, so you're
So,
good.
yeah, that's just the race I like to do. I feel like it's a far enough distance that it challenges you, especially if you're trying to go for speed. I mean, that's kind of the balancing act I'm trying to figure out is how to get faster at that distance and maintain the endurance without blowing up too much or whatever.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's unpack this, man. Like I'm fascinated by your story. I know you're always like, I don't know how what story it's going to be interesting, but I'm fascinated by your story because um like so many of us, we get into this and on that, what is it, like on onset you think to yourself like, okay, like this is going to be, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be doable. And then right, you go for your first Boston qualifying, or Boston qualifying time, if you will. And if you're like me, I'm like, okay, first marathon, I'm going to do this. And you learn the hard way that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
you know what, like, let's, the first question I'm going to throw at you, like, when did running first enter your life? And maybe this was back when you were a kid, maybe this was teenagers, maybe it was, yeah, I mean, you tell us, when did it first enter
Yeah, I
your
mean,
life?
I played basketball and stuff growing up, but I don't know if I considered myself a runner or anything. I like to play basketball, and um, running really didn't enter my life till I was seriously about 30. I swam in high school. I didn't really do anything in my 20s really, as far as trying to keep myself fit or anything like that. I just kind of just sat around or whatever. And then yeah, about 30, my friend that's been my best friend since like the 5th grade, he started trail running, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of fun. So I started just run, not on the trails, just on the roads, and I really enjoyed it. It was something where I could push myself, and I didn't need other people or anything else to help me push. I could just do it, go out the door and off I went. So yeah, I was about 30 when I started really, I guess, I don't know if you'd call when I was playing basketball, really. I wasn't thinking about the running aspect of it, but I'd say probably 30 was when I really started to really get into running and do it consistently for sure. So
Nice.
yeah,
No, that's awesome. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
nothing too crazy.
Nice. Nice. I love that because I think, a lot of us, I think especially like in our little community, I feel like a lot of us aren't like in our 20s that when we find this. And that's the part that, like, for me always is like fun to talk about because when I started running, I was probably in my late 20s. It was more of just like I was running a mile on the treadmill at the gym, and it was just like more of an exercise thing. I didn't really like think much of it. Um, and like you, like when I started, I was just like, this is for exercise. Like, I just want to get a little bit. And then you see all these people that are doing like crazy events and stuff.
Yeah,
And you're like, dude, I want to try it out. Like, that'd
yeah.
be freaking cool.
Yeah, I remember when I
Um,
signed up for my first half marathon, I was like, "Whoa, like, this is crazy." I thought it was, like, the most crazy thing, like, of all time, and it's like
yeah.
yeah, looking back at it now, I mean, it's cool. But just seeing where I've come from there is yeah, it's been, yeah,
So
fun to
just
watch.
shoot straight with us. what was your first
It
half
it
marathon and what was your time?
it actually
I'm
wasn't bad.
so
So,
okay, let's hear this.
I
I'm
ran the
excited.
Leighton Marathon or half marathon. I don't know if you ever did that course when they started you out on Antelope Island and worked your way into the Leighton.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
familiar with the course. It
yeah,
it ended before I got really into running, so but
gotcha,
I'm very familiar with it.
gotcha. Yeah, so I did the half, and it was trying to think. I think it was an out and back actually, if I recall correctly. The first year they did it. Yeah, it was an out and back. So, anyways, I ran like a 152 or a 154, something like that. Like, it wasn't a horrible time. Like, that's a decent first marathon time, I think, for just plunking around in the neighborhood and giving it a go.
Dude,
So,
that's awesome. No, like I think that's impressive because like you said, like I think especially when you don't know what you're doing, and then just you go and have fun with it.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy to like when you think back about like, man, I can't believe I pulled that off and like compared to what I do now.
yeah,
Um, I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie, sometimes I even think to myself, like, maybe I should go back to being a lot more simplistic about my approach. Because I think I sometimes overthink it. Like, I'm sure you've been in the same boat, but there's been times I've been training for like Boston or something. And I'm like, I feel like I overdo it and I'm overthinking it.
yeah,
And I know I'm a different runner than I was when I was like road running like exclusively, but dude, holy cow. And I think back about those early years, like for me would have been like 2014, 2015. And I'm like, I walked out my door to go do like a 12 miler and
yeah,
I was like, I didn't even bring a water bottle, dude. It was so stupid. Like I was like, and again, this, it's you're brand new. You're like, okay, I'm just gonna go. And it's like already 80 degrees
yeah,
outside. The sun's like burning on you, and you're just like, I'm just gonna go and find out
yeah.
what happens.
I'm trying to think.
Um,
Yeah, because I think the Leighton Marathon was in October or something. So yeah, I had the same like. I'm just gonna go out and run. I didn't bring water. I just went out and ran. Yeah,
dude, I love it. I love it.
just showed up
I
and
love
raced
it.
it.
Dude, I love it, man. That's super cool. So that
Uh,
was your first half.
yeah,
Um, let's ask it, man. Like, what was your first full marathon? Which race was it? And then, what was your time there? And maybe even dive a little deeper. What was your experience like? Maybe training for it, and then, like, how you felt about it, like during and after.
yeah, for sure. So my first full was Ogden Marathon. I want to say 2011. Could be wrong. I have to go look at my old shirt that I have still kicking around from it and look at it and see, but somewhere around there. Maybe 2010. I can't remember. Somewhere around there. But um, the training, I remember it being really tough because I had to train through the winter, right, and the early spring, and I didn't have the gear for it. Like, I remember one time it was windy and rainy outside, and I found some old like red Coca-Cola like jacket that was like waterproof, and so I was like, I'll just go around in this, right? No idea like about all the things you should do when you're winter running or running. Anyways, I ended up getting hypothermia and because all the sweat, like I didn't have anywhere to go, right? So I was like running with this huge red coat on. My body,
Hmm.
my body was obviously sweating, but the sweat didn't have anywhere to go. And I remember there was a 7-Eleven up by my house. I'm like, I'm just gonna stop here and call someone to come get me or whatever. And
I love it.
I was like, I was like a half mile from my house. I was like, why don't I just run to my house or whatever? So I ran to my house and I'm pretty certain I had hypothermia. I went and laid in my bathtub and I fell asleep, like in my bathtub,
Not
probably a little
advised,
bit.
people. Yeah, not advised, people.
Not the best of ideas, right? I remember my first 20-mile run. Maybe I was just really wimpy. I don't know, but I literally, when I hit my 20-mile mark, I'm not even exaggerating when I say this. I had to crawl into my front door because my legs hurt so bad. So I don't know why it was so. I think what I was doing wrong is like during the week I do like 3 miles on Monday and then like 4 or 5 on Wednesday and then another 3 miles on Thursday and then I do like 18 miles on a Saturday or 20 miles or whatever. So like my body just wasn't used to running that far. So when I hit 20 miles, I was like, I literally, no lie, I crawled into my front door because I could not walk anymore. And so, yeah, I just remember it being super tough. I was hoping to run 4 hours for my marathon at Ogden. I ran a 4:02:30, so I wasn't too far off actually, but I remember getting done and I was sicker than a dog. Like, I'm like, I'm never doing that again, right? Doesn't everyone say that or whatever?
Yeah. Dude, everybody says it, man. I almost say it after every 100 now. I'm like, I'm never
But
doing that. That was such a stupid idea. I'm
why
like,
did
I'm
I do
never do
that?
I know. And
Yeah.
like, especially when I still have like, I always like, it's pretty comical whenever I'm on my hundreds because like we'll get to like mile 85 and I'm like, still have 15 miles to go. And I'm like, I'm never do this stupid thing again. Like, this is so stupid. Like, why
Yeah.
would anyone even do this? And
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
sorry.
we went and got lunch at Union Station, and I was like, "Oh man, I was only like 2 minutes off my goal." So then I signed up for another one, right? Because I didn't do that race right. I had to go under 4 hours, and I think my second one was a Leighton full marathon, ironically, and I ran 4:02:23, so it was like 7 seconds faster was all, and I was like, ah, like just all mad about it or whatever. And anyways, I trained hard over that winter. I think my first race after that was Utah Valley, and I ran a 3:57, and I was so stoked about that. Like, I was like, I did it. Like, and I just didn't barely do it. Like, I was like, I'm 3 minutes under 4 hours or whatever. I was pretty excited about that. I thought I'd kind of hit the jackpot there, like that I'd ran under 4 hours. That was a pretty big milestone for me. I was excited about that. Uh, I just remember the training being really tough early, and I'm sure it's because I wasn't doing it right. Like, and I wasn't fueling. I remember having to, when I was training for Ogden, because it was the wintertime, I had boil water and put it in like a 20-ounce water bottle to keep it warm or like warm enough so it wouldn't freeze on me. And it'd still freeze on me every time before I got done. Like, I'd be carrying a big ice block of, in my hand or whatever of this 20-ounce water bottle, just trying to get fluids in me and couldn't do it, obviously. And then I was just carrying around an ice brick around. And so I just remember it being really, really hard, not having the right gear, not knowing what I was doing, just like freaking trying to run 20 miles and just it's sucking really bad. I remember, you know what I'm talking about. So for those of you who
Yeah.
haven't ran the Ogden Marathon, the last couple miles is on a parkway and it's like got little rollers in it. And thinking, who in the world put these dumb little rollers in this course? Like, you can't flatten this out. Like, and I was really mad about that. I remember thinking, why aren't we running on a road? Like, it was just a hard day for me. But I think I learned a little bit from it. I don't know. It makes for good memories, at least. Like, freak, I remember like doing these training runs and just it sucking really bad. Like, just really having to work hard and had no idea what I was doing with I didn't bring any fuel along. Like, I would carry the water around if I was lucky, right? And just trying to survive training during the wintertime and trying to figure fueling out, but I wasn't carrying any goos or gels or just carrying plain old water and it'd freeze on me so I couldn't drink it. So it was a learning it was a tough. I don't know how I kept going, honestly. Like, it was just, I guess, because I wanted to, but
Yeah.
I wanted a break of 4 hours and I didn't care how bad I suffered to get there, I guess. So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Like, so I gotta throw a question at you based off of what you just said there, because that just gets me thinking about like, let's call it what it is. How many suck fests, we've all been through
Yes.
trying to chase these dreams, right?
Yeah.
So, like, when you think about it, like from those times when you were doing just those awful runs and races and you're not prepared to like where you're at now, right? Like, you're amazing. I think we all think you're like
Well, thanks.
an amazing runner. Like, why did you even continue to like do that, man? Like, what drove, and maybe it's just the time, but what else like kept you doing this
Well, I
over and
think
over and over?
yeah, I mean, obviously I had the time goal of 4 hours, and then I think, I loved it. I actually, this sounds weird, like suffering through all that, like kind of make me enjoy it a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe that sounds weird, but I don't know. It's just
No,
seeing
not
what
at
you can
all.
put your body through is something that I've really learned to enjoy. Like, what can my body do that I didn't think was possible, which has been fun. And that's still something I don't know what I'm possible, what I can do yet. I'm the oldest obviously I've ever been, but I'm faster than I've ever been as well. So
Yeah.
it's been cool to see, like, so I think that was the main part of it, was just seeing what I'm capable of. And I think that's been my main driver for me, is just I don't know what I'm capable of yet, because I haven't reached that point yet.
Dude, I love that. Something I said, on my very first podcast episode, I talked about something very similar to this, and I think me and you, we relate a lot on so many things, which that's why I really do consider you one of my best friends, like truly. But one of the things that I just admire about you is like when he's training, and I need to emphasize this with like everybody that's listening to this, like when he's training, because I know what he does, because I Strava follow him, and I probably spend too much time looking at what he's doing, but um he will, like, leading up to marathon, right? He is like, he goes out and does these just awful training sessions where he's doing race pace, and he's even doing it faster than race pace for like 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 miles. And like, again, let me remind you again, he is a 250 marathoner. Like, so you can do the math on this. It's probably what, like a 6:20?
Let's see.
What pace is that?
3 hours is 6:52. So yeah, 6:40, 6:45. I think I was 6:43 at Ogden when I ran
Okay.
2:53. It's 25 is what I averaged at Big Cottonwood. So yeah.
But when he's training, he brings it down lower than that. Or faster, however you want to look at it. He brings it down faster so that when he gets to game day, he can send it, right? And so that's one of the things that I admire about him, because I know when I've ever tried to go that fast, I laugh because that doesn't happen too often. But when he goes that fast, it is extremely painful. How, like, I'm going to ask you, I mean, I know how it's done, right? And tell people, how do you get to that point? Like, how do you get to a point where you have essentially been able to get to that? And I know, and I'm going to jump into the pain thing. That's my next question for you. But how did you get to this point?
Yeah, I think just knowing kind of what to expect, like, it's going to be tough. But is it worth it to reach a goal? That's what
I
it
love
boils
it.
down to. Like, if you want to reach a goal, you've got to sacrifice to get what you want as far as a goal. So I know to run the race I want, I've got to put in the work to run that race. And so, yeah, is it gonna be tough miles? For sure, but like, that's the only way to get your goal or whatever. If you have a time pace or a mileage, like, doing 100 miles or whatever, there's got to be some sacrifice that's got to be made to do it. And so that's the sacrifice I make, because I know it's just get ready for a couple hours of really tough, hard running where I'm pushing myself to limits I've never been before. And you hope that your body can hold up. And, sometimes you're teetering on the line of being injured versus not being injured. But I think that's the line you got to toe to to get those gains. And so it's something I've grown to actually. Maybe this sounds weird, but I kind of love that zone a little bit, where you're just kind of pushing to see where you can go and see what your body's capable of. It sucks, it's painful, it can hurt, like, but for me, it's, I don't know, it's something I love to know, especially when I finish that workout. Like, I just freaking, I don't know, whatever the workout is, I just did 14 miles at race pace or whatever, whatever that is for that race or for you or whatever. But knowing that you're able to run that pace or that, for that distance is super rewarding to me. So it's something I really enjoy. I kind of enjoy being in that how long can I suffer type of zone, see what comes out of it. Sometimes, it's never easy. And there are days where it's, you wonder why you'd want to do something like that, but it's just something I love to do, I guess. Again, I like to
So,
see what I'm capable of, and so far
yeah,
I haven't found it yet.
that's awesome. And I know you've kind of, you maybe already addressed it just with what you said, but why? Why do you do it, man? Like, and I know you probably just said it. So if you're
Yeah.
just repeating yourself, that's okay.
No,
But
yeah. I think, yeah, just to see what I'm capable of is a cool thing. Like, knowing that I don't think I've reached my maximum potential yet is pretty cool. Um, Running in the masters category, the old person category, and being able to see your times improve. I mean, even since I turned 40, that's 4.5 years ago, I've improved my time by over 10 minutes roughly in a marathon, which is pretty cool be able to see. For me at least, I know a lot of people maybe that's not what they're after, but seeing goals that you didn't think were possible are now within reach. I remember when I ran my first 3 hour marathon, I had been working for a couple of years. It was during the pandemic and we didn't have any races. So I just spent that entire year just working towards that goal because I needed to run roughly that to be able to run at Boston because I knew I could run the qualifying time. It was just, I know you needed a buffer. And so that was what I needed to run to be able to go run Boston. And nothing better than watching you achieve a goal that you spent a couple of years doing is pretty fun to watch or to watch and be a part of and knowing the work that you put into it. I think that's why I love to do it so much.
Yeah. So I one thing that I've emphasized, and I know you have on like your social media posts, and it's one thing I love to talk about with just like, all the adventures, all the races and all that. And that is really important to me. And you've touched on it, but it's the training, right? Like how do you feel about training? Like how do you feel about that grind, right? That you're constantly doing like um, guys, again, he's fast. He's definitely fast. He pushes himself. And what was it last year? You ended up with what, 25, 2,700? It was 27, right? 2,700 miles?
Yeah, it was 28 and change,
28.
something.
My
Yeah.
bad. My
No,
bad.
you're
Yeah,
good.
I'm getting it wrong. I'm getting it wrong.
You're good.
So 2,800 miles. He's Boston qualifying. Again, don't want to really age him, but I'm going to age him because we're
You can age
friends.
it.
He's a master's division, so he's older than 40. Um, this isn't easy for all of you youngins that are listening to this. If you're like, oh, it's not that hard. Wait until you're over 40. It starts to catch up to you. I promise you, it's coming. It doesn't get any easier. And I know probably if anyone's listening that's in their 60s or 70s, they're like, wait until you get to 60 and
Yeah,
70. And I
yeah.
respect that. I 100% agree because I remember being 20. Kind of going back to my question or my statement is like you do some serious mileage, you do some serious work, you hit your accomplishments. What is training to you? Like, not so much like what your paces are, because, we can find that stuff out. You can look all that stuff up, but like, why do you continue to do this to yourself, man? Like, I'm not going to lie. I see some of the stuff you do and I'm like, dude, you're nuts. Like, I would not want to go that fast for that long. And I know you have a good balance, which is smart. I mean, any good coach or any good athlete would know to be balanced, but why, man? Why do you do this to yourself?
I love it. I don't know. It's just fun. Again, seeing what you're capable of is fun to see. I mean, like I said, I don't think I've reached, even though I'm getting older, I don't think I've reached my peak yet. I'm curious to know what that is.
That's awesome.
Am I teetering there? Do I have a lot more progress I can do in the time my next few years? However long, I don't know. 50, I don't know. Who
Yeah,
knows?
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
I do log a lot of miles. I think that helps kind of get the body ready. I'm a I know maybe everyone's not like this, but generally a proponent of higher mileage type of training. I feel like if I can get my body ready to be out there a long time, it's going to be better off for me on race day. So yeah, a lot of 2 days. Yeah, a lot of miles during the week. I think usually sit between 75 and 80 miles during the week. I do have a couple of weeks in my training block where I go over 100 miles just to get my body ready for a marathon and being able to perform how I want it to. Yeah, I just like to see what I can do.
That's awesome. And I think, you touched on this, because you just like to see what you're capable of. And I love that answer. Um, but like to me, I've learned to just embrace training, right? Like you have to learn to love it
For sure.
because, for both of us, I mean, yeah, I know you've been running longer than me, you know, year wise, if you will. But there comes a point, like I mentioned in my last episode, where like in the pandemic, um, I kind of started losing the love for running because I was like, there's no races.
Yeah.
Like, what am I trying to accomplish? And that's when I really had to like figure out like what my why was. Like, why do I even do this in the first place? Because I seriously was like, I'm done, man. Like
Yeah.
like, like you hear about people that sleep in on them, Saturdays, and you're like, that
Yeah,
doesn't sound like a bad deal. Or even during the week, man, like, right. We all got to go to our, our JOB, as Eric Sutterfield always says, our JOB. And I'm like, dude, I got to go do that. And I'm like, man, it'd be really nice to not be tired for that
sleep
today.
in. Yeah.
And so you embrace that training, you find enjoyment in it. And like, I love that you're like, I like to just push myself and kind of see where it takes me. And I've loved that about training. I love just getting out there, and I'm like, if I love this, if I can embrace this, then when I get to race day, um, it's just the cherry on the top,
That's
man.
the
Like, we're just
reward, right?
gonna, yeah, it,
Yeah.
and I think so many people lose that. Like, I don't know,
Yeah,
what do you think? Like,
totally.
I think people forget that when they get to race day, they're like, they freak out, right? Like, I always, one of my favorite memories with you, and you can tell it too, but it was the Salt Lake City Marathon last year.
Well, that was awesome,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, tell people what happened at the start, man. It was nuts.
Yeah, so we got there late, I think, cause something with the trains or something, I can't remember, but anyways.
No, it was my car. My car,
Oh,
like,
that's right,
almost,
I forgot about that.
yeah, I got the oil change. This will be a fun story for people. I was getting my oil change, and the dummies forgot to put the freaking tin oil pan on. And so I'm driving to meet up with Tim, and the freaking oil pan's like, because of the wind, and the oil pan is like this, out, it just like boom, hits down. And I'm looking like Back to the Future, man. I'm Marty McFlying it, going down the freeway to meet up with Tim. And dude, it's like sparks everywhere. Um, Anyways, that we barely made to that
Yeah,
race, dude.
yeah, that's what
Anyways,
it was, I forgot
anyways,
about that.
sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we get to the starting line, and you and I are just like, we were all stoked and excited, and there's so many people who were, like, all nervous, and we're like, "This is the fun part, like, why you don't need to be nervous, this is this is the reward for all those miles that you've put in to get here, like, whatever happens, happens." I mean, even if I don't have the race that I want, who cares? Like, it's all just for fun. I mean, I'm not a pro runner who's gonna make money or whatever off it, and most of us aren't. And so, yeah, it's all just you need to have fun with it. If you have a bad race, you have a bad race. In the grand scheme of things, what does it matter? Nothing, right? So yeah, it's all just for fun. And yeah, Salt Lake was awesome about it because we were just like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Like we're having so much fun, and everyone else is nervous up there, and me and you are just dinking around.
Oh man, that truly is still one of my favorite memories, because me and you were just like, we were just laughing, we were like joking, and like like the fear was so palpable.
It was.
Like, and I'm not making fun of people. Like, I promise, I'm not trying to like dog on anybody, because I get it. Like, race day is nerve-wracking, especially if you're like, I've been training for whatever your training plan is, 12
Yeah,
week, 16 week, 20
16,
week.
yeah.
I get it. Whatever your training plan is, and you're like, dude, this is it. And you like look, and there's like these two clowns that are like laughing about it. I probably would have been bugged a little bit too, but like, we were just like, you guys are taking this like way too serious. Like, if you relax, if you try to calm down a little bit, you're gonna have like such a better race, because I think stress and like worry and anxiety burns way more energy than you want.
For sure.
Me and you burnt enough energy just trying to make that stupid race, but
I totally
we
forgot
got
about the
there.
car thing, yeah.
Yeah, holy cow,
Yeah,
man!
that was a fun
What
one.
a
That was a fun day, though. We had fun that day.
We did. And
Yeah.
remember, we hung around and saw my boss come through,
Yeah, yeah, that's fun.
Donovan, and we
Yeah.
got to just see all these people, and people we knew come through the finish line. It was just cool, and it was like perfect weather day. It was
Yeah, it
like
was awesome.
what was like 50, 60
Yeah,
degrees.
it
It
was
was like
perfect.
money day.
Yeah.
So,
No, it was awesome. Yeah, that was
but
a fun day.
that's funny. No, I love what you said about training, because like, it's true. Like, you just, if you've done the work, you go, and it's fine. Like, whatever happens, happens. And if it's not your day, I always think back to like, well, I mean, I'm trying to think back to it, but like some of those marathons that I've done, like marathon 8, 9, 10, I don't even know what they were. I don't
Mhm.
even probably know what the time was.
Yeah.
I remember what my PR is for a marathon, but that's kind of the extent of what I really remember. I remember
Mhm.
my very first marathon a lot, and my second, but that's after that, you tend to just kind of forget the stuff. And maybe these people, this is their only marathon. They're never going to do
True.
another one.
Yeah.
But like you, I've always been the type that like, if I do something, I want to get better at it.
Yeah.
And after that first marathon for me was Ogden as well in 2018. I remember that Sunday night just sitting there, and we all got back in the day, Ogden Marathon would send the dreaded email to everybody after the race on Sunday, because the race is on Saturday. So Sunday night, you get the email, and they'd say, hey, run it again for 50% off.
Yeah.
And you stare at it for a long time. I remember being like, okay, it's a year away. Can I do better?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And my wife, Jessica, was like, you're really going to do it again? I'm like, it's a year away. Like, that's nothing. Like, we'll be fine. I'll train. I'll be ready for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they don't do that email anymore, but that
No.
was nice when they would do the
Yeah.
50% off. That was pretty sweet
Yeah.
deal. So,
Actually, don't usually ever I think I've told you this, but maybe some others, like, I don't usually sign up super early for races. I try to wait till, like, I have to sign up type of a thing because I like to make sure I'm healthy before. I don't wanna spend $100 and not show up. I'd prefer to spend $120 and make sure I'm healthy or whatever the amount goes up to, $130, because I wanna make sure I can actually run it, and I'd prefer to pay a little extra and make sure I'm healthy to do it,
yeah.
but
That's
that's just
no,
me.
I don't blame you. And honestly, I know a lot of people who do the exact same thing. I think they just want to make sure that everything comes together right.
Yeah,
Because yeah, it's a big loss of money, and then you don't know where you're going to be in a year if you defer. And so
right.
I
Yeah,
totally get that.
yeah.
So well, awesome, dude. You've done a great job, like telling us more about you. We've understand kind of your why, what's your purpose, what's driving you. I want to jump into just a few different questions here for you. We'll kind of throw some twists at you and just kind of see what we can get out of you
Alright,
here.
sounds good.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to just throw some different ones, but like what race or adventure that you've gone on, maybe in the last year, maybe even in the last 10 years, has meant the most to you, and like why? Like what's something you've done that you just like absolutely loved and you're like, dude, that was an awesome experience. Like I'm grateful. And it could have been a race, it could be a training run, it could be, I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me what was it?
I think the one that comes to mind again is when I ran under 3 hours for the first time, because that's that was a pretty big goal of mine. Like I said before, I'd spent basically like 2 years going for it because I had the whole year of the pandemic where there's no races that I just trained for it. So I remember, because I worked really hard for that, and I remember coming down the last little bit of Big Cottonwood, half mile to go, and knowing that I had it in the bag, like, that was pretty cool because it was just the work that I had put in to go from, because my marathon before that was 3:15, so I went from a 3:15 marathon to a 2:57 marathon.
Whoa.
So
That's real time.
yeah, it's
That's real time,
that's
man.
like a minute per mile almost or whatever, right?
Wow.
So I was, and granted, that was a much more flat course than Big Cottonwood, so I understand that, but like, still, it's a pretty big jump. I was pretty excited to be able to make that jump. I just remember being like, I can't believe this is happening right now. And, qualifying for Boston, like, and running that time. Just, I remember that was probably one of the, at least running wise, like, probably my greatest memory or accomplishment that I have felt like I've done. Even my Big Cottonwood time, last year I ran 2:49. I don't think that was my best race I've ever ran, even though it was my fastest time. I don't think it was my best race I've ever run. I think my Ogden last year was better than my Big Cottonwood, where I ran 2:53. Just, yeah, but that Big Cottonwood, I remember running 2:57 and just being so stoked because of the work I had to put in to get there.
Hmm.
So that was probably my biggest accomplishment running wise, for sure, at least recently, that I'm most proud of because of the work I had to take to do it, and learning how to fuel properly and all that stuff, because I hadn't figured that out really until, I mean, I had, but not like I have now. I don't know, just putting it all together in one race, and that was the one. So that's probably the one I'd say for me most was probably my most rewarding. Granted, I've ran times faster than that now, and they've been good, but that was the one that I still remember the most for sure.
That's awesome. What on the flip side, and you can't say your first one because we already know that was tough, but what was your toughest race, whether physically, mentally, or both?
Honestly, St. George last year was really tough for me. I don't know if you remember leading up to it. I was sick the week of the race.
That's
I had ran a
right. I remember
marathon
that
3 weeks
now. Yep.
before. I'd ran Big Cottonwood 3 weeks before. It was like I showed up and I didn't know what to expect. I wanted a PR because that's generally a course I can run really good at St. George. And it was a suffer fest I mean, I remember being at mile 6, like, if I want a PR, I'm gonna have to feel tons better than I do right now. And going through Vail, I was running okay, but I knew I wasn't running the pace that I needed to PR. And I remember being about mile 24 and seeing the 3-hour pacer guy come past me. which I hadn't ran that pace for a while. I've usually been on the lower side of 3 hours or whatever, faster side
Mm,
than that.
the opposite side of
Yeah,
it.
the opposite. Yeah, so seeing him go past me was an interesting feeling, I guess, would be the term I'd use. But yeah, it's just I was sick that week and trying to run a good time. Um, being sick and having that other marathon so close, it made it really hard. So I think that was one of my, at least that I can think of, at least. Salt Lake Marathon's always hard, but that was a different type of hard. This was just, yeah, just a battle from the beginning.
That's funny that you say that because I remember me and you texting leading up to that, and you were sick. And I remember you being like, dude, I don't know how this is going to go. And I remember because that was the week after the Bear 100.
Yes.
When
Yeah.
I finished my second double, I did
Yeah.
that in 24 and then I did it again in 25.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, you got this, dude. I know you do. And I'm like, and I remember you having that same mindset that, like me and you both kind of share where you were like, I'm going to go and I'm just going to see whatever happens,
Yeah.
happens. And I'm okay with it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go and give it my best shot because like, as you know, like so many times there's things we can control and there's things we can't, right?
For sure.
Um, one story that I've talked about, a lot of people know on my social media just this past year with the Wasatch 100 in 2025. I mean, I should have assumed something bad would happen, but I had no idea that I was going to get attacked by wasps. I got
Yeah.
12 wasp stings.
That's so crazy.
It was pure chaos. And I remember I had trained so hard. Me and you were talking about this, and like I had incorporated so much speed work this year into what I was doing. So I felt really good about being able to go faster and just be able to charge. And I'm like, man, I'm 5 miles into this freaking race and it's
95 to go.
already,
No big deal.
and I'm like, my heart rate's like 170 every time I like try to start running it all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm usually like a 120, 130 guy on the trails at max, like when
Yeah.
I'm going my hardest. And I'm
Yeah.
like, race is over, man. Like race, it's done. Like, I don't know how this is going to go,
Yeah.
but you go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You just go and
Like,
show up. You never know what's going to happen.
yeah. Why did you do that, man? Like, why did you run it?
Because I wanted to. Sound like fun. Because well, yeah, I don't know. I knew, because like Thursday, I was starting to feel like myself again, like, and the races on
Hmm.
Saturday or whatever, obviously. So I knew like I could go finish. And again, I wasn't really worried about, did I want a PR? Yeah. Did I know that a PR was going to happen that day? I knew the chances of it weren't super high. So I just showed up to see what I was capable of. I mean, it's still a really good time. I think most people would be pretty happy with it. I ran 3 hours and 1 second.
I remember that. I remember that. 1 second over.
Yeah, 1 second
Uh,
over. If I would have just chucked my bib over the finish line or something, but yeah, so yeah, so like that's still a really good, I mean, that's a 6:52 pace that I averaged still after being sick that week and running a marathon, 3 weeks before. A really tough one on your body. The big comp was tough on your body just with all the downhill and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to be tough, but it don't matter.
yeah.
It's all for fun. So
How did you get ready for that? Like how what have you done, not so much just this year, but in general? Like, and I know I'm probably leading the witness here, but what got you to that point where you knew you're gonna go do it no matter what?
yeah, I think the training. I mean, I knew I was fit enough to go do it for sure, especially the distance. If I wasn't, I mean, again, I wanted to see if I could PR, and I tried for it. It wasn't like I was sandbagging. I can't remember where I was at halfway through. I was, um, 127 or something like that. Like I was still under 3 hour pace at the halfway mark,
Hmm.
which I mean, I was still a few minutes off the pace that I needed. The last half St. George pretty downhill, and I was hoping to take advantage of it and um, just see what happened. And so, yeah, I think just showing up and seeing what I could do was, uh, yeah, the goal really. I mean, did I want to run a PR for sure? But I knew it wasn't most likely in the cards, so just go show up and have fun, and whatever
Yeah,
happens, happens.
that's
So
awesome. No, I love it, man. And like you said, you've been built, you've been forged through training. And at the end of the day, like I agree with you 100%. Like that's what I always tell myself. Like whether it's the Ogden Marathon, Salt Lake City Marathon, whether it's, one of my hundreds, I'm like, you have been forged for this moment, because of all the work you've done. Like, it's time to go now.
Yeah.
And, like we talked about, like that's the reward, right? That's the ice cream at the end of the trail
Yeah.
or whatever. But,
Yeah.
it's still hard. A lot of times the race is still hard, but
For
you've
sure.
done the work. It's time to just go. It's just
Yeah.
time to execute. And
Yep.
it sucks being sick. Like, I get it. And like you said, you were getting better, but I just remember being so impressed that you were like, I'm going, dude. Like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And I
Yeah.
was like, good on you, man. Like, better, better man than me, right? Like, I'm like, I get it, but God, dude, because I remember you just weren't feeling that good.
Yeah, I was
But
in bed till Wednesday, basically. I got up
yeah,
sick Sunday or Monday, and I think it was Sunday, and I didn't get out of bed till really Thursday. I think maybe Wednesday I was out a little bit, but yeah, I was bedridden for that first half of the week at least, and yeah, I mean, you never know what'll happen. It's fun to again see what you're capable of in all sorts of circumstances, and just went for it and still ran a pretty decent race. I feel was the one I wanted. No, but was it fun? Yeah, I had a blast. Still, like, who cares?
yeah.
So
See, and I love that. I love that mentality. You're like, I still had fun.
yeah,
Like, and I think we forget so many times, like, we forget to have fun. Um, And I get it, but I also am like, guys, like, have fun with this. Like, one of the fun things I always like to say, like, when I'm running down Ogden, because the first 8 miles of Ogden is almost all downhill into
yeah,
Huntsville.
yeah,
And I'm always like, I'll always say sometime going down that, I'm like, where else could we be? This is the best day ever.
yeah.
And I think like some of the people around me are always like, this
What
tool,
is yeah,
but I'm like, dude, like, we're like, this is so amazing. We get to be doing this. Like,
yeah,
this is just awesome, man.
yeah.
Like, we should be grateful that we can, because how many people out there
Can't.
can't do what we do? And it's not because they choose not to. They
Mhm,
just literally cannot.
right.
And that's like one of those things I always remind people is I'm like, you have to be grateful and show appreciation, because you don't know, like, eventually, like, I want to think I'm going to do this until I die,
Yeah,
but I'm also realistic that I don't think that will happen.
yeah,
And so I need to appreciate each one of
totally.
these runs. And I've had so many great runs with you. Like, it's funny, like, I was sitting here thinking, like, when I asked you the question, I was like, what adventure or race means the most to you? And I have so many of them that I think are amazing, but I'm
Mhm.
thinking to myself, like, what one was one of the most? And I think back to me and you doing Benny this year.
That was fun.
Ben Lomond Peak. It's here in Utah. It's in Weber County. Um, and, we ran that, me and you, and there was still snow. That was the best part.
Yeah,
We're freaking scrambling up rock to get to the top,
that
and we
was
didn't stop.
yeah.
Well, go ahead.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
go
say
ahead.
the
No.
last little bit was a little sketchy. There's a few times where, like, if we slip or something, like, that's gonna hurt. Like, that's a long ways down. I might
Dude,
not
it's
live.
like, I know. I'm like, I remember you, like, I kind of had like the mentality. I was like, well, if Tim says something, like, if he backs out, I'm going to back out too. And I was like, but I really want it, because like, he's, the stupid Strava, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you see other people doing it. So I'm like, we got to do it. Like,
yeah,
we can't let other people do it. We're not doing it.
yeah.
But like, I'm like, we're going up, and I'm like, dude, we're scrambling on these rocks, like, climbing up. And I'm like, this is stupidity. And then, like, we both talked about this. And of course, I'm going to bring up the prank I did to you. But like, the whole time we're both thinking about rattlesnakes, because yes, there's still snow up there, but it's like getting back up to being warm here in Utah at that
Yeah.
time. So we're like,
It was
what was it?
June,
Like,
right? June or
yeah, it
July,
was like 60 degrees, maybe like high
maybe
50s, low
higher. Yeah.
60s. Yeah. And so we're both like, dude, we got to be careful about rattlesnakes. And then, like a dummy, me and him are going. And fortunately, there's internet reception up there. So we're coming back down. And I just pull my cell phone out and go to YouTube, and I find a rattlesnake sound. And so Tim's like climbing down, and I'm like right behind him. And I'm just like crank up the volume, and I hit play on it. And dude, the look on your face when you turned around, you're like, what the
What
freak? And I
was
just
that?
started laughing. I couldn't stop. And it's really messed up. We probably should never joke about that, but it
No
was
way, it was
fun.
funny. Well, that's so
Dude,
it's funny you say that too, because like, this sounds bad, like, that's, like, one of my phobias, like, I'd almost not really, but I say this a bunch, like, I'd almost prefer to have a mountain lion encounter than a rattlesnake encounter, just because I don't know, there's something about 'em, they freak me out, they're always hiding in some bush where you can't see them. At least you can
yeah,
see a mountain lion, but
yeah,
obviously
that's
not really,
awesome.
but yeah, like, so, it was so funny, that was a funny prank, that was awesome.
But like, see, but that's like, to me, that is like, like when I talk about my why with running, and I think like I always say, like my why is so deep and mine is so complicated. It's hard for me to ever put in words. Part of like my why is these adventures that I've had
For
with
sure.
you, the
Yeah.
adventures I've had with like Nate Allred. I think I honestly feel bad for Nate. I'm going to have him on eventually here shortly too. And I feel like every time Nate is with me, it's chaos. And I think he's like, dude, I don't want to run with you anymore because every time something happens, and I sometimes I feel bad for him, but I also like, sucker, this is gonna be awesome. But it's fun because he's always down for the adventure too. But I think sometimes he's like, oh my gosh, Ryan, like, why is it every time we do something it's just like pure chaos? But it's these memories that we
Yeah,
make.
100%.
And and like, how many times am I in the middle of my day at work and I'm like, just doing whatever, slogging through. And then like I think about that memory and I'm like, dude, that was so fun when me and you did that. Like
Well,
it was a blast. And then like, then it's just something that, we had a great moment, like
mhm.
hanging out together. And,
Yeah, it was awesome.
you think about going up to it and then coming down. And I don't know, like it's
Yeah, it
just,
was
it's one
epic.
of the, that and that's like part of this whole thing. Like this is
Yeah.
what, like as I said, like what my podcast is all about is just like what is your why? And like for me, that is so important that me and you and other people that we're friends with, we get to share these memories and like we just have fun times and we laugh and joke. So um
Yeah, I mean, really
anyways,
the why of it should be fun, right? That's
yep,
no matter what you're doing, whether you're doing group runs or you're running by yourself or we're up on trails or whatever, if you're not having fun, why are you doing it?
100% agree with you, dude. Perfectly said. I love that. Like if we're not having fun, what are we doing?
Yeah,
Love it.
yeah.
Cool. Well, let me throw some other fun ones at you.
Okay,
I've
let's
got
see
to
what you
ask you some funny stories.
got.
Okay. This kind of goes along with one of our friends who was asking us. We won't go into what she asked us on a group run recently, but Lindsay, she knows. Hopefully, I know Lindsay's listening to this. But dude, tell us a race disaster or a training run disaster or funny story. I'd love to hear one that you got on the top of your head.
Let's see. I really haven't had any race disasters. I'm pretty good at knowing what to do, how my body's going to react on race day. I really haven't had any really like I know a lot of people have like bathroom problems. Like I've never really had that on any race or anything like that. I mean, I told you one of my practice runs running in the red Coca-Cola jacket. Like, that was an adventure for sure. Like I'd never do that again. Let's see. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, yeah. I don't know if I mean, there's probably others, but there's nothing that like jumps out to my mind or like, dude, this was just crazy. Like, I'm pretty good at honing in how I'm gonna feel on race day or whatever. Training runs, again, same thing. I kind of know, especially running roads, I know what to expect and how my body's gonna act most of the time. So I really haven't had any really crazy like runs like that where it's like, oh, it was like total chaos or whatever. Most of the time I'm pretty dialed into what I'm doing, and I know that's not
That's awesome.
the fun answer, but
No, that's
that's
awesome.
generally how I operate. Like I know what my body's gonna do and how it's gonna act, and
But that
so
just tells about like your approach to race day, man. Like, and I know you're that way. I know you're very calculated. Like your approach, you are like on it, and I love that about you. Like, and I know that's you. Like, you're like, I want to be like, I know how this is going to play out. Now, again, there's always those little things that can derail, but it's just cool to see that from you because you are like when he does his training runs and when he does his training plan, people like he executes to a T. And I always say to him, because like we do our group runs, we have our Northern Utah running club and Ogden Marathon running clubs. And I always say to him, like when he's to his true training program and he's doing his Saturday runs, like he doesn't need to like sandbag and hang out with everybody. He needs to go and he needs to do his thing. And that's what I tell anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your background is. Like you are not important enough that people have to sacrifice their goals for you. Like you got to go
yeah, you gotta
and
do
you
what
got to
you
do your
gotta
thing.
do for you. If you have a
Yeah.
goal that you want to reach, I mean, if it's just finishing, then maybe if you want to sit around and chat. Like I love those type of runs too, don't get me wrong, but like for if you have a goal, you've got to do the work that you need to do to get to that goal. And so, yeah, I turn into a recluse a little bit on when I start my training blocks. I don't I mean, if you wanna run with me, cool. I'm not gonna this sounds bad, maybe it doesn't, but I'm not gonna change my training plan to run with other people. If you wanna run with me, cool. If you don't, I get it. Like, we all have our own goals, and it doesn't offend me if you're like, "No, I don't wanna run with you," or whatever, like, I get it, like, that's just how it is. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's how it goes.
yeah,
That's awesome. No, I love it. I seriously do. Yeah, just because you don't have like some epic crazy story, dude, that's okay, man. Like, yeah, I just love that. Like, I love you how you calculated you are, and like you dial it in and you go. You just go. Um, what's one training mistake you've learned from?
fueling for sure, like, I that has been the biggest changer for me. I remember when I had finally figured it out. I think I had ran before that, my fastest marathon was like a 3:37 or something like that, and when I'd figured it out, I'd ran a 3:23 or something like that, like, I remember but, at that race, my last 10K were my fastest miles of the whole race because I had fueled properly, and I remember just thinking finally, like, "Okay, I've finally figured out this fueling thing." So, that was the biggest, yeah, changer for me for sure is learning how to fuel the right way and getting what my body needs to be able to run the races I want and the paces I wanna do. So, that's been, yeah, the big changer for me for sure.
That's awesome. And I think that's so like honestly, anybody that's listening to this and they're like, why am I struggling like at mile 18 of a marathon,
100%.
right? Or whatever it is, right? Or if you're doing a 100 miler and you're just like, why do I just can't like I
Yeah,
feel like I lose all my energy. It's fueling, it's hydration, it's getting your electrolytes dialed in like
yeah,
every time. And I know it's not always easy to figure that out, but like you got to figure that out. And that's where, I would say like hire a running coach, hire a nutritionist, hire somebody. If you can't figure it out on your own, like hire someone that can help you, give you ideas and go after that. Because that's going to help out a lot. And it is important. It's one of those things that like we think like I remember when I first started, I was the same way on my first Ogden marathon. I had the stupidest idea about what nutrition should have been.
same.
And yeah, and I almost DNF a marathon, which again, that happens. It happens. But I literally almost, I mean, as I said last time, I had freaking first aid lady at mile 22, aid
Mhm,
stations, like, hey,
yeah.
come here. And I'm like, nope. And I knew why. She could see it on my face. And I'm like, I think I'm gonna die. I remember literally thinking, I'm going to die, dude. I was afraid. And she could
I'm
see
gonna
it.
keep
So
running.
yeah, and she's like, "You should come over here." And I'm like, "Nope, I'm good." And anyway, so I think that's really important. I love that you said that because I think that's a big mistake that a lot of people make. So
Yeah,
I'm glad you touched on that.
yeah, it's huge. It was for me at least, it was game changer completely.
That's awesome. Next question I'll throw at you. And I won't keep you forever, I
No,
promise.
you're good.
But I'm loving our conversation because it's just fun. I mean, it's fun. We connect. Me and you just go after it. So, um, what has all of these experiences taught you about you?
I think about me, I think a lot of times I'd sell myself short on what I'm capable of, and I think most people probably do the same. Maybe not everyone, but I don't think people are truly know what their body or what they are capable of themselves. So I think that's the big thing that I've learned from it, at least, is I'm capable of so much more than I had realized I was. I remember, like I said, I thought 4 hours was the ultimate goal back when I first started. Like when I ran into 4 hours, I thought I'd made it because which is I mean, don't get me wrong, that's still a great time, don't get me wrong, but,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, of course.
um, just, to look at where I'm at now, I mean, 2:49 versus a 4:02 marathon, that's a pretty big improvement in
Huge.
time, yeah, how is that what,
Hour
70
and
minutes?
yeah, hour and 10 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah, so, yeah, that's a
yeah.
pretty big jump, so I think a lot of people just don't, know what they're capable of, or maybe they don't wanna find out because of the pain and the that it takes to get there, but
Yeah. Do you think that translates to other aspects of your life?
yes, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, work stuff and um yeah, just life in general. I think for sure you think, "Oh, I've done all I can do," or whatever, and there's so much more that you can do that you just didn't think you could do because you put yourself in a box basically or create barriers for yourself. And um yeah, I think everyone is capable of a lot more than they realize.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. I mean, as I've mentioned countless times to you and, on other podcasts, my own podcast, the last episode, running has taught me that I'm capable of just so much that I'm not even aware of. I know there's the meme out there, running has taught me I'm capable of so much more than I ever dreamed of or whatever. Like that's the story of my life. I truly always never thought I like, and this is probably really bad. I'm just being vulnerable here, but like, I didn't think I was worth crap most of my life. I thought I was just a slug to society. I didn't think I was worthy of anything good. I was like, dude, I'm just going to get through this life and whatever. And, running and other things in my life, like I've mentioned before, going on an LDS mission, learning to speak Spanish, marrying my wife, getting my degrees, running, my first marathon, running my, running a first 100 miler. All these things has helped make me who I am today.
For
And
sure.
I'm grateful for those experiences because like those have been absolute game changers. So I love that you're like, yeah, it translates to other aspects of my life because even now, like whatever it is in our lives with my kids or with my wife or whatever, I'm like, we're capable so much more. Like we're not giving up. Like we're going
Yeah.
to keep going.
Yeah.
So
No, you're yeah, spot on. You just don't realize because I don't think people want to put in the work or whatever, go through the pain that it takes to progress like that.
yeah, 100% agree. Okay.
Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to. They just I don't know. They don't realize they can do more.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't word that quite right, but
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, you got to figure this stuff out. And a lot of times it's by putting yourself in these situations, like we talked about at the beginning, like putting yourself in these situations where you're like, I don't maybe know what's going to happen, but I'm going to go try my hardest
yeah,
and
see what
push
happens. Yeah,
and see what happens. And that's like life in general, right? Like who knows if you're really going to like get the job or graduate with your degree. Like do you really know if that's going to happen? No, but you get the idea of what probably needs to happen. So let's go
yeah,
execute and just see what happens.
yep,
So I
exactly.
love it, man. I love it. All right, dude. Well, I love it. I totally agree with you with your approach there. I think that's awesome. To me, again, I just think there's so much we can learn from running. So I really appreciate kind of what you said there. So, okay, next question I'm gonna throw at you. Do you I mean, okay, long runs. That's as I mentioned before, that's my specialty. I love it. I think it's awesome. How do you stay locked in on a long run? Because I think a lot of people, that's where they struggle, right? Because like you said, you live for the game. Like you love this. Like you
Yeah,
love getting out there and running
yeah.
for crushing it. How do you stay present? How do you stay in the game? Like just going, like hammering away.
I actually maybe a lot of other people do this. I focus on like the specific mile I'm in. Like, what do I need to do this mile to achieve my ultimate goal or whatever, right? So whether it's this is a mile I got to fuel or whatever it might be, like that's one thing I always do is just focus on the mile that I'm in. I know it sounds cliche, everyone says it, but I really try to have something that I'm focusing on each mile to get me to my goals. So all right, so I got to fuel this mile. I gotta get water in this mile or whatever it might be, just to um, so I can reach my goal. So I always try to have smaller objectives along the way, keep me focused on what the ultimate goal is. Uh, so that's a lot of ways I handle it. They just give me something to do that mile that I need to do to achieve the goal that I'm after, or the time that I want to run or whatever. And it seems to help because I know sometimes you think, oh, I got to do 16 miles of this pace. It can seem overwhelming at times. Or running like you, like I have to go, I still have 70 miles of this race or whatever. You got to break it down into smaller chunks. And so that's what I try to do. I just try to break it down into manageable, bite size, whatever you want to call it, pieces of my training block or of that particular run to get my ultimate goal of running whatever my workout is for the day. So whether it be taking in fuel or fluids or making sure my form is good, even because
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of people like to hunch over, try to keep good form or whatever. Just something to keep me focused on uh, each mile to help me reach the goal that I have for that particular run or race or whatever. So that's the way I like to do it. Just small bite-sized pieces. It's too hard to think of running 16 or 20 miles at this pace. If I can do 1 mile, then I just have to do it again another mile, and it just makes it easier.
Yeah.
So
Dude, I love that, man. And you hit it right on the head. Like, I love being that exact same thing. Like when I run my hundreds, I'm always like, if I think about like, if I'm at mile 30 and I'm like, I still have 70 more to go, the thought of DNFing is so strong.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do this any longer.
Yeah.
But if I tell myself, hey, let's get to the next aid station, especially if you're like your crew is going to be there or you know somebody that's going to be there.
Yeah.
Or, if you've done the race before and there's like really good food there.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about us trail runners. We were joking about this, me and you yesterday, but man, I sure love like getting to an aid station. They have like breakfast foods like hash browns and
Yeah.
like bacon and sausage. I'm like, let's go. Like, this
This
is
is
going to be
awesome.
amazing.
A little better
Yeah.
tasting than a goo.
Yeah. A lot better tasting than a goo. But anyways, it's just
That's funny.
funny. It's just, yeah, it's awesome. And that's how I attack it as well. I just tell myself, like, don't ever think like how far you have left in the whole race. Cause if you do, you're fixing to just DNF.
Yeah.
So, cause it's tough. It is
Yeah,
tough.
no doubt. Yeah, if you can break it down into, okay, what do I need to do this mile or whatever to get the goal that I have, then it makes it a lot easier to digest.
Yeah. 100% agree. All right. These are some of my last fun questions I want to throw at you,
Okay.
just because um they're fun, but I think they mean a little bit more to maybe me and you. I think it would mean a lot to like Joe, Jamie McDonald, just because I think between like the four of us, and I know there has been other big players in this, whether that's like Micah, whether that's, like Megan, Michaela, there's been some awesome other people who've helped this community that we've helped grow. I mentioned this previously too, kind of on the previous episode, but like community has been very important to me and you. We've really put a lot of work into helping to, develop this. And we always say like, this isn't our group. Like, we're not like, hey, this is, Ryan and Tim's running club. This is the community, because, it should be able to survive without us. Right. But that being said, how has this running community impacted your life?
Oh, it's huge. I never thought like excuse me, that I'd find this many people that like doing the same stuff I do, first off. So that's been fun to like get around the same type of minded people that enjoy doing what I do. And then just getting to know different people is super fun. Like knowing, I think my life's been pretty easy in general compared to you hear about a lot of other stories from other people that they've had a tough life or they're going through tough stuff, and mine's quite simple compared to a lot of people that are out there grinding away and doing what they have to do to reach the goals they have too, right? I don't know. It's just awesome to get to know other people, kind of know what their life is, what they're going through or what they've gone through, and what motivates them to want to get out there every Saturday with us and or during the week or whatever. Usually it's Saturday mornings. I don't know. It's just cool to hear other people's stories and um, um, helping each other achieve goals that maybe wouldn't be as feasible on your own. I don't know. Some people really thrive in the group format, and I love it. Like it's fun, especially when you run by yourself the entire week or whatever. It's nice to mix it up and have people to run with and talk to, and so it's something I really love. I think it's been super fun to have these groups to run with, and breaks up kind of the it's different than the rest of the week. I'm someone that likes change and variety, and it's just something different. And so that's what I don't know, I really enjoy it. Just getting to know other people and sometimes helping them reach their goals, and they're helping me reach some goals as well or whatever. And it's just cool to watch, like we did last year at the Ogden Marathon. Watching all your friends come through the finish line is fun as heck. That was so fun, just standing there and watching everyone come through, and it was cool as heck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been
Es
fun.
Yeah, especially those first time marathoners that,
Yeah,
they're like, they're doing everything they can to stay in this game.
yeah,
Like, I'm with you. Like, it was so cool to see some of those people. Like,
yeah,
like I always think back about like Matt
yeah,
and sorry, we probably shouldn't drop people's names, but we're gonna do it. Like seeing Matt come through and like
yeah,
seeing like Allie Rushing come through, like
mhm,
those were like special freaking moments,
yeah,
man. And you just know that they were put through hell,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
they were struggling
Yeah.
so bad and they did it. And like
Yeah.
Christy Rundio, another
Miriam.
person. Miriam, yes,
Yeah.
like Miriam, Christy Rundio. Like you see these people that are just like they went through it to get it,
Yeah.
right? And you're just so proud of them.
Yeah.
And and they were friends, man. Like,
Yeah. Friends. Yeah.
right? Like, I don't think me or you, like, I really believe this about you. Like, I do not believe in the slightest you think you're better than any of these people. You may be a faster runner, but you value their friendship
For
and
sure.
who they are, just like that doesn't even matter to you. Time
Yeah.
is just time,
Yeah.
whatever it
Yeah.
is. You know they're out there earning it just as much as you or I are doing.
For sure.
And it just turns into something different when you see these people doing that. And then like, like for me, like I like this is among other things, but like why I'm just such a huge fan and love Jamie McDonald. But like Jamie is like there always for us.
Yeah.
And she sits there at the finish line and she just is like cheering everybody on and just like such a huge advocate for the community. And she truly cares. Like that's the one thing I'd always say about Jamie is like, I know she cares.
For
And
sure.
that's why I'm like so drawn to like working with her and why we do a lot of what we do and we partner with her.
Yeah.
So it's just cool when you see people that are truly like, that means something to them. It just changes the whole game. So
For sure. I mean, I ran a bunch of these, like, cool, I ran another one, like, yay, I ran, woo, but watching other people accomplish a big goal, like, yeah, first timers or people who are trying to reach, trying to qualify for Boston or whatever it is, like, it's cool to watch them push and try to reach these goals. It's more rewarding probably than watching, than my own goals in all reality. Like, it's fun to run my own thing, but I love to watch other people accomplishing hard things as well. Like, it's motivating. I mean, if no one's ever watched the finish line at a marathon, go do it. Like
it'll
it's
change your
it's a
life.
yeah, it changes your life. It's amazing.
Yeah, the person I remember the first person who ever told me something like that was Laquita and Kirk Probasco. Like those two said that to me. They're like, go see a finish line. And that's why they got into running. I think it was in the first year you did your marathon was 2011. I think that's what they told me. Anyways, they came to the finish line and they're like, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what distance, but we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And like their story is crazy because they both lost a lot of weight. They changed a lot of their lifestyles. And it was all because they came to the finish line. So I love that you recommend people to do that
Yeah.
because, yeah. Oh, go ahead.
No, I say it changes your life. Just watching people come through. It's so motivating, and
Yeah.
the hard work that they put through you. I mean, it's the one place where you see it all. Like,
Yeah.
that
Well, oh, go ahead.
all that work that someone does to reach that goal. It's not like, I mean, maybe there's some people out there that can just not train and sign up and go run a marathon, but you probably won't run it well if you do it that way. Like, it's just cool to watch people who have pushed, and you've logged a lot of miles with. I mean, a lot of these people we've ran a lot of miles with over the training block, and you get close to them and watching them accomplish big goals is fun.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things too, like I always think back about like with Jacob and Nate and they were there on my first and second Wasatch finishes and just seeing them like tearing up for me and getting emotional, like that was like it almost got me tearing up again at the finish line. But I'd been through every emotion at that point. I didn't want to. I was done feeling
You're like, I
emotions.
just
I was
want
just
to
like,
eat and sit
I
down.
I just want to get off my feet. I don't want to feel this any longer. I don't want to cry. I don't want to laugh. I just want to be done. But like looking at them and seeing them like tearing up, like it struck a chord with me.
Yeah.
And because they both had been through the gauntlet with me and just appreciate those two.
There's something
Like,
about it when you suffer with others. The training runs, yeah, during a 100-mile race, like there's something that binds you forever together just by logging miles.
yeah. And I think that's really like what our friendship, me and you have had,
For sure.
we've forged because how many miles we've done together is just
Tons.
insane.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I was looking at Strava this past year and it was like looking at who it said was like the person I'd done the most miles with. And it was weird because me and you have done miles together, but we just haven't tagged each other. So it was more of like whoever I've tagged to it, I think is what it, and I was like, bull crap, dude. I know Tim was number one, like 100% guaranteed Tim was number, it said you were like number two or something.
Really?
I was like, dude, there's no way he's number one. Yeah.
Maybe
Zach
Nate.
Vigil. Actually, it was Zach Vigil. Zach Vigil was number one. You were number two, and Nate was number three. So I was like, surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised with that. So, anyways, okay, we're gonna do a lightning round with you really quickly. I think this would be kind of fun. You don't have to have a long answer. If you have a long answer to it, that's great.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
Okay, Favorite race distance?
Marathon.
Marathon.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I mean,
Nice.
half marathons are fun too, but I live for the marathon, I think, so.
Love it. Love it. Road or trail?
This is a trick question. Everyone
I
thinks I'm a road
know you.
runner.
I know. I know. This is where we're gonna out you. I know you like
I
trails.
love the
Not many
trail.
people. For some reason, you've developed this weird what is it, reputation that
Yeah,
you like hate trails, and he doesn't, people.
yeah.
Newsflash, anyone that's listening, he doesn't hate trails. He actually really likes them. I've run with him. I laugh when people give him grief about it because I know the truth.
Well, yeah, and yeah, like we ran, I bet more, I mean, we ran a lot of road trails or miles together, but we ran a fair amount of trail miles this year too, with all the trail runs that we did out on the island, up Ben Lomond, the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. Like we did a fair amount. And yeah, people don't realize I have this old YouTube channel. I don't even know. I think it's just my name, but like it's
Yeah.
all it is trail running. If you go watch
Yeah.
it, it's all only trail running.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely probably in the road running category, but I love trails too. It's got to be the right time for it. Is when I'm training for a marathon, I'm on the roads hammering down, and so maybe I don't get as much trail miles as I'd like, or some people think I should get, I guess, or whatever. But it's not because I don't love it. It's just because I have other goals that I'm trying to reach.
Nice.
So
No, it's awesome.
that's
Morning
a
or
funny
evening
one.
runs?
Morning, 100%. I don't mind.
100%.
I don't mind
Go.
evenings, but I like to get out early. I don't know, something about being out there when it's just you, and I don't know. It's
I'm with you.
quiet. It's quiet in the mornings. You don't have to worry about other crap going on. It's just I find it really relaxing and almost like therapeutic almost.
Yeah, I'm with
I'm
you.
definitely a
100%.
morning runner for sure.
Favorite post-run meal?
Usually like a big fat bacon and cheeseburger of some sort or something.
Let's go. I love it. I love it, dude. I love it.
Or yeah, something like that. Fries. One of the things that I always like to do after is go get a big fizz or a swig if you're a Utah and you know what those are or whatever. Maybe if you're not outside of Utah, or if you're outside of Utah, you don't know what those are. They're just like a mixed soda, dirty soda type drink. So usually I'll have that with it. I probably should eat something healthy, but it just always sounds good.
Hey, you know what? You've earned it, man. You know
I
what?
know.
It's
It's a
okay for
reward.
one day. Yeah,
Yeah.
one day after the training, or for after the training block and everything you've
Yeah.
done, like go splurge a little
Yeah,
bit. So
exactly. Yeah, that's
I love it.
definitely,
I love it.
yeah.
I already know the answer to this next question, so I'll still ask it, and then we're gonna dive a little further on that. Music, podcasts, or silence?
Music for sure. It
Let's
actually probably go
go.
music, then silence, then podcasts. I used to listen to podcasts. I don't really listen to them when I'm out running really at all anymore. I
Nice.
used to,
Yeah.
but yeah, music for sure. If my earbuds are dead or whatever, I'll just run without anything. And I haven't done a podcast for years and years, probably 5 or 6, 7 years. Ironically, if I'm listening to a podcast, I do it like when I'm at my house, like making dinner or something like that. But when I'm out
Nice.
running, I don't listen to them for whatever reason.
Nice. What's uh what's on your playlist right now?
I mean, like Blink-182 is my favorite band, so they're on there.
Let's
Yeah,
go right there. Tom
old
DeLonge.
Tom. Yeah,
Yep.
Boomer, you mean?
Yeah, boomer, exactly.
I love Angels and Airwaves, Yellow Card, Muse, Metallica, Aerosmith, The Offspring, Deftones, Guns N' Roses, anything basically rock and roll. You won't find any
Nice.
country music on my playlists and rap music.
Yeah,
For
that's
whatever
okay.
reason, they're not my cup of tea, but
Yeah. No,
you
that's
won't find
cool.
Taylor Swift on mine either.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was gonna say, me and Tim, we have this thing where we always will talk about what's on our playlist before each race that we do. It's kind of a running joke. So I knew what his answer was on this, but that's why I threw in the second half of this, and I was like, okay, I gotta just get what he's got on his playlist. And again, I knew most of that as well, but we share a lot of the same interests.
Yes.
Okay, last two questions I'm going to throw at you, and then we'll wrap it up for
Okay.
sure. Um, what would you say to someone who is struggling with their running journey right now?
Just keep at it, whatever that is. just whatever you can do it. The biggest thing is consistency. If you're running 2 miles a day or 10 miles a day, just doing something regularly is the biggest secret. Even if it's hard, like that's the one way to progress the most or reach goals that you want is through consistency.
Yep. Consistency is king, man.
Yep,
I
for
I
sure.
always say that it's king. You'll get back on, and I get it. We all go through it. We go through times where it's a struggle and it's a slog, but if you can stay consistent, good things happen usually.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I love it.
Every run's not gonna be like the coolest run of all time. Like you're gonna have runs that are fun and runs that maybe are boring or whatever, and that's just how it is. Like not every run's gonna be this cool epic journey.
Yeah. Nope. 100%. Um, I guess two last questions. So that was the
Okay.
third to last, second to last question. It's the same question I ask everybody. That I will ask everybody on here. If there's one last thing about your why that you haven't said on here, one last thing about your why, and it could be anything. What is it? What's the one last thing about your why? Why do you do all this?
I just love it. I don't know. I can't. I told like mine's pretty basic. I don't have this epic story or anything like that. Like it's just something like I said before, I love it and I like to see what my body's capable of. Those are my big reasons, I think. It's
Nice.
got to be fun
Cool.
and see what you can do.
That's awesome. Well, cool, dude. Well, um, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank you.
much
It's
for,
fun.
yeah, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you. Not just for coming on this podcast, but for your friendship,
Yeah,
for who
same.
you are as a person. And it's fun. It's fun to see, the things that we've done together. It's fun to, the friendships we've helped create with other people. Yeah, you're just a good friend. So I appreciate you a
Thanks. Same with
ton.
you. It's been a huge blessing in my life to have you in it. So thank
Yeah,
you.
likewise, man. Well, if we have people on here that don't know who you are, which I think most people initially are going to know who you are, but if someone listens and they live in Timbuktu or whatever, Delaware, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a crazy state,
Yeah.
where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so Instagram, I'm the stick figure runner. If you'd ever see me, you'd know why I have that handle.
Yeah,
I'm on Strava just under my name, Tim Cottrell. Those are my two. That's where my running journeys are those two places, and that's where you'd find me for sure. Instagram would be probably the best place to find me. Stick figure runner is my Instagram handle.
awesome.
So
We'll throw that in the show notes so people can follow you and get to know you a little bit more. If it's Tim is truly one of the best for giving kudos and like just especially if you're engaged with him, he's gonna shoot you comments and just tell you you're doing amazing. So that's the one thing I think everyone in this area admires about him is he is the first to just tell you you're kicking butt. So so yeah, definitely give him a follow, people. Promise you won't go wrong with that. So anyways, Tim, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Yes, yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And if I in the future, you willing to help me co-host a few
yeah,
episodes? Let's
let's
do it,
do it.
dude. I think it'd be a good balance for me and you to come after a couple of these guys that we'll have on.
Yeah,
So I'd love to have you. I won't make you do every episode, but I'd love to have you for a few. So
yeah.
thanks,
Just let
man.
me
Thanks
know
for being
when.
willing to do it.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's fun. It was fun.
Okay.
My first
Let's do it.
one, my first podcast.
Let's go. Let's go. Awesome. Okay. Thanks again,
All
man.
right, thanks. Yep.
Hey, runner. Thanks for hanging out with me today on Reimagine Running. I'm grateful you're here and a part of this great podcast. I just want to remind you, if you ever feel stuck, unsure, or just want someone in your corner, I do offer coaching for runners at any distance. Whether you're starting out with the 5K or you're chasing some crazy big goals and dreams like the marathon or the 100-miler, I'd love to help you. Please reach out and I'd be happy to set up a time to go over options and plans and goals with you. Well, until next time, take care of yourself, trust the process, stay disciplined, and keep chasing that why.